News Prime. The military invites Amnesty International over 10,000 deaths in detention claim. In business, a government says Nigeria's fintech system attracted over $2 billion in investments in 2024. On a foreign scene, one shot dead on election day in Ghana. In sports, Nigeria lose to Uganda after DLS in Africa Cup. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am June-Mai Manson. Now a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Now the news info. The Military High Command says it has invited the international human rights organization Amnesty International to defend its allegations against the armed forces that 10,000 civilians died in its custody. It described the claim by the international right group as malicious, shocking, lacking in merit, as well as mischievous, noting that the Armed Forces of Nigeria as a professional organization could not have engaged in what it was being accused of. It had been reported that Amnesty, at a press briefing in Maiduguri, Borno State, accused the military of sending 10,000 civilians into early grave while in their detention. However, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Edward Buba, in a statement explained standard of operations was followed in handling matters related to arrest of civilians. The National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has commended President Bola Tinubu and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma for their commitment to development of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. He stated this during the institution's 36th convocation ceremony. Amarachi Ibe reports that the event featured the conferment of honorary doctorate degrees on distinctions individuals including First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu, Governor Hope Uzodinma, and Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State. In the meantime, First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has visited Imo State to thank the people for their support in the last general election that brought her husband, President Tinubu, to power. Here is Amarachi Ibe's story. We apologize, that report will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. President Bola Tinubu has again made significant changes to the proposed leadership of the Southeast Development Commission, submitting a revised list of nominees to the Senate for conferment. The updated list features new appointments aimed at strengthening the Commission's capacity to drive development in the Southeast region. A State House press release says Tinubu replaced the initial chairman nominee Emeka Atuma with Dr. Emeka Uwogu. The senator representing Kwara Central Senatorial District and National Assembly, Saliu Mustafa, has called for the inclusion of retired permanent secretaries in government and policy-making processes. Speaking at the annual conference of the Association of Retired Permanent Secretaries, Kwara Chapter in Ilorin, Mustafa said Nigeria needed to further make us of invaluable experience and wisdom of the seasoned administrators, describing them as pillars upon which Nigeria has stood. Mustafa, who was represented by a retired permanent secretary, Kali Yusuf, highlighted the role the seasoned administrators could play in addressing Nigeria's challenges. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has warned motorists to desist from exceeding the 100 km/h speed limit on expressway as the festive season approaches. Speaking, according to FRSC, is one of the major causes of road accidents which must be curbed to save the lives of commuters. The Corps gave the warning amid the alarming rate of road accidents in the country. According to recent data from the FRSC and National Bureau of Statistics, more than 21,500 lives have been lost to road crashes in the past 5 years in the country. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority says it will strengthen collaboration with airline operators and other aviation stakeholders in the South-South to also ensure seamless airline operations in the zone. The Acting Director General of the authority, Chris Najomo, said This in his address at the inauguration of the Port Harcourt Regional Office Building at the Port Harcourt International Airport, Amagwa, in the Ikare local government area of Rivers State. The journal stated that the new facility, which came to realization after 22 years in the offering, underscores the authority's resolve to decentralize operations and bring service closer to stakeholders and enhance the flow of communication and operations within the zone. The lawmaker representing Delta Central Senatorial District at the National Assembly, Senator Ede Diafanono, has expressed sorrow over the death of the President General of Okoma Community in Ughelli South local government area, Pa James Okoroko, who reportedly died in a military detention on December 4th, 2024. In a statement made available to journalists in Warri, Delta State, Diafanono condemned the circumstances surrounding Okoroko's death and called for the immediate and unconditional release of 5 other community leaders detained by the Nigerian military since August. Detained individuals include Professor Arthur Ekpelkbo, Chief Belvis Odogbo, Pa Dennis Okubaye, Pa Anthony Amawura, and Rita Akata. An inferno has razed tailoring shops at the new modern market in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, destroying goods worth millions of naira. The fire started on Thursday night at about 9:30 p.m. and lasted to the early hours of Friday. It was, however, difficult for the personnel of the Nasarawa State Fire Service to put out the fire owing to the heaps of refuse dumps in and around the marketplace. You are watching News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the Nigerian's capital, Abuja, where News Prime returns. Nigerian's trade surplus hits 5 trillion naira. Details of this, as well as business and sports stories, coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Let them be lying on computer head. You know where one day this computer go open mouth talk. Looking at the line. Before uncle. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. The federal government says Nigeria's fintech ecosystem attracted over $2 billion in investment this year. The 2024 economic report by the Office of the Special Advisor to Nigeria's President on Economic Affairs listed telecommunications and ICT, especially fintech, as one of the key sectors that drove the nation's economic growth in 2024, with the potential to replicate or double the same feat in 2025. The report also mentioned that with the rollout of 5G networks and the expansion of internet penetration, the telecommunications and ICT sector is expected to grow by 8 to 10% in 2025. Over to the federal government's statutory allocation to the National Assembly and National Judicial Council in 2024 hit a total sum of 564 billion naira in October. In February, the House of Representatives pushed for 5% of the country's yearly budget to be allocated to the federal legislature and judiciary. The Green Chamber initiated a process to amend Nigeria's Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007, but inserting Section 54, Subsection A, which would make provision for the allocation of 5% each to the National Assembly and the Federal Judiciary in the Appropriation Act for each year. Nigeria's total capital importation for the third quarter of 2024 witnessed a 51.90% decline from the previous quarter, falling to $1.25 billion. This drop compared to the $2.60 billion recorded in Q2 2024 highlights a sharp contraction in foreign investment despite an overall annual increase of 91.35% from Q3 2023. The latest capital importation reports by the National Bureau of Statistics reveal that while Nigeria's capital importation showed substantial growth year on year, there was a notable retreat in inflows compared to the preceding quarter. Nigerians recorded a trade surplus of 5.81 trillion naira in the third quarter of 2024, reflecting a remarkable rise in export earnings according to the latest data from the National Bureau of Statistics. However, the surplus recorded in Q3 2024 is far lower than the 6.95 trillion naira trade surplus recorded in the previous quarter. The Bureau in its foreign trade statistics noted that Nigeria's merchandise trade of Q3 this year was a total value of 35.16 trillion naira, marking an 81.35% increase compared to the same period in 2023 and a 13.26% rise from the previous quarter. Total exports for the quarter surged by 98% to 20.49 trillion naira compared to 10.35 trillion naira in Q3 2024. On our foreign decks, as voting continues in Ghana general election, police says 4 men have been arrested following the fatal shooting of one person and the wounding of another. It happened at the polling station in the northern town of Yakwala, where soldiers have since been sent to restore calm. Elsewhere, election day have been peacefully conducted, with some Ghanaians queuing before dawn to make sure they cast their ballot. A debt crisis and high living costs mean the economy is uppermost in the minds of many voters. The West African nation is guaranteed a new president as Nana Akufo-Addo steps down after reaching the official limit of 2 terms in office. Over now to Burkina Faso's ruling military leader dismissed the country's prime minister and disclosed the government according to presidential decree. The sacked premier had served at the head of 3 successive governments, surviving each reshuffle. No reason was given for the dismissal of Apollinaire Jekshin Kayem Di Taubelo, who was named as premier in October 2022 after the coup that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power. A gravely weakened President Emmanuel Macron hopes to win a new lease of political life from ceremonial reopening of Notre Dame. Joined by U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, Prince William, and other international figures, including Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky, Macron will seek to present the renovated cathedral as a symbol of France's inner reserve of creative strength. In a speech marking the occasion, he will urge the world to see beyond the country's current political crisis and admire the determination, organization, and hard craft that have rescued one of France's most famous buildings in just 5 years. And on our sports news now, Nigerian senior men's cricket team on Friday lost by 5 wickets to Uganda at the ILT20 African Cup currently being played in Kigali, Rwanda. A rain delay led to the usage of the Duckworth-Lewis Stern method, which ensured Uganda secured the win. Nigeria had won the toss and elected a bat first in the encounter at the 4-nation tournament at the Gahanga Cricket Oval. Nigerian senior men cricket team on Friday lost by 5 wickets to Uganda at the ILT20 African Cup currently being played in Rwanda. Now, after a long wait, a new chairman has been sworn in to steer the affairs of Delta State Sports Commission for the next 4 years. He is Honore De Oberero, a former player of Fangas Football Club of Warri. He took over from Chief Tonabok Okowa, who vacated the position in February this year. After the completion of his 8-year tenure, Governor Oberere assured all athletics coaches and staff of Delta Sports Commission that the new board will ensure the success of Team Delta at the fast approaching 22nd National Sports Festival in Ogun State in January 2025. Members of Kenya's Football Federation will elect a new leader as concerns mount over the country's preparation to host the African Nations Championships. Members of the Football Kenya Federation will hold their long-delayed election after months of controversy and litigation. Outgoing President Nick Owadwag was arrested in November 2021 after the government investigation uncovered alleged financial irregularities, and a caretaker committee was put in place to run the FKF. However, global footballing body FIFA intervened and forced the Kenyan government to reinstate the FKF board, while corruption charges against Wandal were dropped after the state failed to provide any evidence against him. Now, as we end News Prime tonight, here is a summary of some of our big stories again. We brought to you that Nigeria's military high command says it has invited international human rights organization Amnesty International to defend its allegation against the armed forces that 10,000 civilians died in its custody. Government says Nigeria's fintech ecosystem attracted over $2 billion in investments this year. As voting continues in Ghana's general election, police say 4 men have been arrested following a fatal shooting of one person and the wounding of another. And finally, in sports, Nigerian senior men's cricket team on Friday lost by 5 wickets to Uganda at the ILT20 African Cup currently being played in Kigali, Rwanda. That's it on News Prime, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.